Hello, this is your. Let me put my chair up. Yo, this is your first look at the PSVR2, and there's a lot of information just come out, and it's just like a little reaction video. I saw this earlier on, and I was about to read it, and I thought I want to create a video, covering it for you guys and my opinions on it. I thought I'll just do, the read and maybe a bit of research along with it if there's certain things I don't understand, whilst I do it. Okay, so as you can see from the image, there are four out-facing cameras. So they had already announced that there was going to be no need for external tracking. It was going to be, from the headset. There was no need to have, some sort of base stations or like a PlayStation camera, which obviously I haven't read this, so maybe it's covered in here. But I'm just thinking, PlayStation 5 had the option to buy a camera. I bought the camera on launch. Pretty much have virtually used it. I mean, the odd time for streaming, but generally speaking, no game, nothing like that. I'm like, maybe it will be used for PSVR because the first one was you did need the headset and there was lights on there that it tracked, including your controller and including PlayStation Move controllers. But with this, I'm just thinking, what was the purpose of that camera? And what made it even worse is that camera could not be used backwards compatible with the PSVR headset 1. If you had the PSVR headset, you could just get a adapter free from Sony, which was nice of them, but an adapter that you could use your old PS camera from your PS4. But again, what was the need for the new one? But okay, I'm digressing. Let's have a look. We got two controllers. They have a very similar look and feel to the Valve Index slash the Oculus controllers, but we've actually got proper official control on that. The PSVR it was very well made, great price, it worked well, but it kind of almost like they did it and they was like, okay, we won't have any proper input methods. We'll just use what we got. We're either PS4 controller or PS Move, which is what PS Move came out in 2010. Jesus Christ, that was old. Okay, today I am especially pleased to reveal the stunning new design of our next generation VR headset, PlayStation VR2, together with an updated and final design image of our PlayStation VR2 Sense controller. Okay, yeah, so they're going with that Sense name a lot, so dual sense like the PlayStation 5 controller, and I'm guessing this will probably have some sort of haptics very similar to it, and I'm guessing the trigger will probably have some sort of features like the DualSense controller. You notice the PSVR2 headset has a similar shape as the PSVR2 Sense controller, taking on a matching orb look. The circular orb shape represents the 360-degree view the players feel when they enter their virtual reality world. So this shape captures it nicely. That's just BS PR stuff. Okay, the design of the PSVR2 headset was also inspired by the look of the PS5 family of products. I'll see that though. When our design team created the PS5 console, they also had the next generation PS VR headset in mind, so you'll notice some similarities in the look and feel. I wonder if they'll have certain parts on the controller, on the headset, where if you zoom in, you can see, the X, circle, square, and triangle as you can on the back of the PS5 controller. Okay, the PS5 console has flat edges as it is meant to be displayed on a flat surface, while there was more emphasis on adding roundness to the design of PSVR2 headset, since it's meant to have constant human contact, similar to the rounded edges of the DualSense controller and Pulse 3D headset. Fair enough, that makes sense. But when they say meant to be, displayed on a flat surface, the bloody thing can't even be laid flat without that, adaptive thing. I guess you could do without it. It's not recommending it rocks a bit. You could do it, standing up, and it does stand up. But even then, they recommend having that thing. For another poor design thing, and I think they're gonna fix that. Either in, the console's been out over a year now. I think they'll just reserve that for the PS5 Slim / PS5 Pro. Okay, our goal is to create a headset that will not only be an attractive part of your living room decor, but will also keep you immersed in your game world to the point where you almost forget you are using a headset or controller. That's why we paid very close attention to the ergonomics of the headset and conducted extensive testing to ensure a comfortable feel for a variety of head sizes. Okay, so yeah, I've used a bunch of headsets from like okay, I'll list out all the VR headsets that I've used. PSVR1, Quest 1, 2, Oculus Go, Oculus Rift, HT Vive Pro, Valve Index, uh, okay, Google Cardboard, very different variations of Google Cardboard, the Samsung, the Gear VR, I think for the most part that is it. And actually, yeah, Oculus. So obviously, Rift was CV1. Think I've used DK1. I don't think I've used DK2. I've used one of the DKs, but I think it's DK1 because I remember pre-pixelated was not the best experience. And when I got the original Rift, I was like, that's a big jump. Okay, so yeah, I mean, for the most part, I think headsets have done a pretty decent job in terms of comfortability. Obviously, stuff like the Vive Pro, the Valve Index are more comfortable than the Oculus Quest, but the price difference and the barrier to entry because of computers. Okay, we already had a lot of positive feedback on the ergonomics of the first VR headset by carefully balancing the weight and having a simple headband that can be adjustable. So we kept the same concept for the PSVR2 headset. Okay, so I'm hoping it's better than the first one because first one overall fit okay, but I find it was sometimes be a bit tight around my head there, or it pressed on my nose. Like if you look at my nose, my bone sticks out a little bit, but I don't think it's so big that I should immediately have an issue. But yeah, I felt like I had a bit of pressure there, which I didn't like. If he was a bit softer at that point where he was lying, that would be nice. And I also felt like once that set was on, he was like I could never quite really get it in the place that I felt like okay, this is definitely on. And I always found like there was a bit of a gap at the bottom. Once the game was on, that gap couldn't really notice it, but it was there. Other features such as the headset's adjustable scope that places the scope area closer or further away from the face and placement of the stereo headphone jack also remain the same, so players will be familiar with it. Okay, so there's still got a headphone jack, which is like before. Did they have a headphone jack? Yes, because you had the cable that came down with buttons on there, and there was a headphone jack on there, I believe. Okay, so I wonder if it'll be similar to that, or if it'll be like the Quest headset where you just plug it in the side. And we look at the controllers here. So the way that they've done it is on one side they got triangle and square, and the other side they got circle and X2 analog sticks, which look very similar to the DualSense, which makes sense. And because I remember the PlayStation Move, is it the nunchuck controller? What do they call it? The nunchuck controllers, the navigation controller. Their analog sticks were very similar to the PS3, controllers, because they came out not long after it. Okay, and they got some, I guess, a share and start buttons up, and they got the triggers at the back. Okay. For the VR2 headset, we took comfort a few steps further by adding new features such as a lens adjustment dial, so users have an additional option to match the lens distance between their eyes to optimize their view. That literally just sounds like what Thingy has already had. The Quest 1, Quest 2, and Rift headset. With Quest 2, you only have like 3 levels, so like far, medium, and near for your eyes. Quest 1 and Rift, you do have a lot. You have a slider, and same with the stuff like Valve Index. So it just sounds like that. And did the PSVR headset 1 not have that? No, it didn't. No. Did it not? I guess not. Can't remember. It's been haven't played it since I played Astro VR. Okay, we also created a slimmer design with a slight weight reduction that is welcome because it was a bit bulky, but again it was a very early VR headset that worked well, and the barrier to entry was pretty cheap. So even with the new added features such as the new built-in motor for the headset feedback, it was quite a challenge to create a slimmer design with new features added to improve upon our first headset, but our design and engineering teams proved this could be possible when we saw the final design. Okay, additionally, we've integrated a new vent design for the PSVR2 headset that we think users will enjoy. Yuji Marisawa, senior art director at SIE, led the headset design PSVR2. Explains why this is his absolute favorite part of the design. I'll read that in a second. Hope they talk about more about the connectivity, the resolution, and like the fact that it's just one cable, the USB-C cable. Remember when I saw that and I was like, there's a regular USB-A, USB-C, nothing currently is using the C. I was like, that's clearly the VR headset. And considering that was like, it's going to be streamlined into one cable, I was like, that's clearly going to be used for the VR headset. They had that in mind. And you could tell that with the PS4, it wasn't really that much in mind compared to this. Okay, when I started to work on the design for the PlayStation VR2 headset, one of the areas I wanted to focus on first was the idea of creating a vent in the headset to let air out, similar to the vents on the PS5 console that allows airflow. Our engineers came up with this idea as a good way to allow ventilation and avoid having the lens fog up while players are immersed in their VR games. That was a huge problem for, I mean, that was probably the biggest, no, the lens fog issue was probably the worst I'd ever seen it on PSVR. Other headsets, to some varying degrees, I've had it, but on there, it all happens so often, and I used to get so warm in that headset as well. I worked on many design concepts to achieve this, and in the final design, you can see there is a little space in between the top and front surface of the scope that contains the integrated ventilation. I'm really proud of how this turned out and the positive feedback I've gotten so far. I hope our PlayStation fans will also agree, and I can't wait for them to try it out. Okay, that's something that I probably wouldn't have put on my top 10 if somebody just asked me, but it's something that he's mentioned, and I'm like, yeah, I remember that issue. Another treat we wanted to share, similar to the thousands of tiny PlayStation symbols we added to the design of the PS5 console and DualSense controller. We also included tiny symbols to the front and back bands of the PSVR2 headset to add a comfortable feel for players to enjoy. Okay, when PSVR2 launches, it'll take a giant leap forward in the way we play games in virtual reality. There are plenty of exciting new features to look forward to in the PSVR2 system, including stunning visual fidelity in 4K HDR and a state of art graphical rendering, enhanced tracking such as inside out camera tracking, new PSVR2 Sense technology features such as headset feedback. That'll be interesting. The new intuitive PSVR2 Sense controller that creates an incredibly deep feeling of immersion. Additionally, the PSVR2 system comes in a simple single core setup so you can connect your games immediately. Okay, they kind of mentioned that. PSVR2 development kits are already in the hands of game creators. We know that because we had that Horizon, game tease a little while back, and a couple, I think one or two others. So yeah, we know that for certain, and we are excited for what they'll come up with to truly make virtual reality a remarkable experience for gamers. We will look forward to sharing more details about PSVR 2. Stay tuned. Let's check the comments. Okay, everyone just loving it. But when is support 2K? Yeah, I was gonna say you already had that. I guess somebody else being a bit too pedantic. Yeah, I guess so. I think it'll have backwards compatibility. Sony has to be being a bit awkward when it comes to backwards compatibility. So remember when the PS3 came out and it was like, oh my god, every generation of game console, Sony game console, not portable, the regular one, their games can be played on it. Probably buff the odd game that wasn't working with PS1, PS2, and obviously PS3 games worked on it. But then they really, like, Microsoft have done a crazy job with their backwards compatibility. Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. Ah, that's an interesting comment. This would mean, okay, so this is my prediction. that they've released the the HD camera, the 1080p camera for the PS5. I think if you have that, you'll be able to play the old PSVR games with the new PSVR headset. It's a bit annoying that you can't use it on the old PSVR headset. Maybe they'll release an update to patch that. And maybe the question is, would you definitely need that new camera to play with the headset? And could you not play with the old PS camera from PS4 with the new PSVR headset? I'm not too sure yet. Yeah, wireless is much wanted, but we'll see what this is like. That's an interesting one. Yeah, that is true. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so I'm excited for it. As soon as the pre-orders are open, I will, order it. I'll create more videos as more news comes out. I'll create videos when the actual headset comes out. Should be later this year. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions or you just want to discuss the PSVR2 headset, feel free to join the Discord group. There's a link in the description. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, just give it a thumbs down. Be honest, and as usual, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.